From our business perspective, I mean, it's actually grown. If you see our global numbers, possibly Q4 of our last year, which was right in the midst of COVID times, which was from May, June, July last year, May, June, July, yeah, 2020. That was our Q4. That was by far the biggest quarter, for Palo Alto Networks globally. So,
Okay.
as I was mentioning earlier,
Mhm.
uh, security was one aspect which couldn't have been left out because, and even in India, for that matter, security did become a a boardroom conversation around 4 or 5 years back. Uh, and uh, Not just the CIO, but it directly impacts the CEOs as well, right? It's all about your brand image. It's all about what are the critical assets, what will you lose in terms of your brand value, in terms of your overall assets. I think
Mhm.
that has become significant. So there's a whole lot of change from 5 years back to now.
Mhm.
When these conversations, the CEO themselves get involved. What is the health of our security? And sometimes these questions, the CISOs and the CIOs have to present back to the CEOs. I mean, this is what our customers are telling us. It's not something which is made up, but our customers are telling us.
Okay.
So Amit, like I said, I was initially, when we stopped the conversation for a while, the what COVID brought in was a sense of I was alluding to this. Digitization moved back by approximately 10 years.
Yeah.
What COVID brought in, nobody was prepared for that. That really tested the infrastructure of our customers' organizations, or all the organization enterprises across the length and breadth, not just world, globally, obviously, but in India as well.
Mhm.
And that is the time when the bad actors started increasing attacks, because there were two aspects to it. One was the readiness of the infra from an infra side. The other was how trained are your own people to look at the employees, how trained are they to actually look at cybersecurity, or an actual hack which is happening, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times you respond to a simple looking email, but with an embedded link, which could actually be a ransomware attack or a malware which is getting embedded. That's the route the hackers take for using the kill chain methodology, right? So, so when the entire COVID happened and everybody went into lockdown and they had to come back to business, I think the CISOs and the CIOs faced this challenge
Mhm.
of, one is business continuity. So their infrastructure was not ready. So overnight they had to scramble for getting their infrastructure ready. I know for sure many CIOs and CISOs have spent sleepless nights, for month and a half, getting the business continuity in place. Uh, and then second aspect definitely was security, because the
Mhm.
attacks started increasing. So, and there was daily reporting going in from the CIO's table onto the CEO's table on where are we on our infrastructure, are we on security aspect,
Mhm.
uh, because any potential leakage from anywhere, any remote employee could impact the organization. So that was the seriousness.
Okay.
Some of the trends which actually started during were, I would say, picked up speed during the COVID phase, were adoption of cloud. Because when you have a BCP, customers want to go with speed and agility in the market. Not that cloud was not picking up pace, but we saw a trend that cloud adoption became more and more became with a lot more speed than earlier.
Exactly.
And so cloud security became a conversation, and we have had some of our biggest wins even in India, during this on cloud security
Mhm.
portfolio during this COVID phase itself, right? The second aspect is the endpoint security. Those That was the trend. So gone were the days when the traditional endpoint security, uh, you know, the endpoint security is being looked at, something which the organizations are willing to, I would say, renew with. They are looking at extended detect and response and endpoint protection,
Mhm.
which is more based on behavioral analysis rather than just your signatures. So
Okay.
XDR, which we were actually talking since last 2 years, that this is going to be the new model for endpoint security. XDR has
Mhm.
taken shape in the market today, right? Uh, the third piece, which actually grew, was the adoption of SASE, or Secure Access Service Edge, right? As Gartner
Okay.
defined, SASE is with an embedded SD-WAN and a DLP offering.
Mhm.
I think from our perspective, also our Prisma Access, along with our SD-WAN portfolio, completes the SASE story. But that trend picked up because of the cloud adoption, right? You don't need to backhaul your entire, remote branches or remote employees
Mhm.
traffic onto your data centers and then, redistribute the traffic or make it go on the cloud. Uh, our Prisma Access is a cloud-based, I would say, firewall as a service model.
Mhm.
You could just hook up. You want to, from your remote branches or remote employees, take the cloud-based service, just hook up onto any cloud-based service or a cloud-based application, or your own internal application, without the need of an additional layer of hardware at the branches or at your remote sites. So mobility, the trend with SASE, that took up really fast, and we were successful in. So if you say VPN based, hardware based traditional legacy infrastructure,
Mhm.
that deployment, if you have to do it, would have any which way taken between 1.5 to 3 months for an organization. So
Mhm.
with the Prisma Access solution, we did close to about 7-8 thousand employee deployment within flat 4 days. So it's all about
Perfect.
speed and agility
Mhm.
of the solution, and how fast, and with the, you know more than, or probably, whatever is our NGFW, a next generation firewall feature on premise, with the similar features on a cloud based service. So but it was the speed and agility which helped us, our customers,
Mhm.
basically, you know
Okay.
within this time frame. So SASE definitely a trend, changing landscape of endpoint security, more so because the bad actors are always after the, data resides on the endpoints mostly, as everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
uh, so that became very critical, as a
Mhm.
critical asset to secure. And then thirdly, as I spoke about, the cloud adoption and the play of cloud security within that cloud adoption.
Okay.
We also saw an uptake in SOC automation. Our
Okay.
XOR solution, SOC
Mhm.
orchestration, automation, and response,
Mhm.
which basically is all about automated playbooks. How can you, automate your L1 and your layer one tasks or L1 tasks,
Mhm.
uh, and you can move your SOC L1 agents onto a higher level doing threat hunting. How could you automate most of those tasks and make it simpler through playbooks, automated playbooks,
Mhm.
and detect and respond to threats. That also saw an uptake within the last 1 year. I think
Right.
we have, see, when COVID hit, most of our partners went through this phase that they had orders in hand which are already placed with distributors. Distributors are already placed those orders, uh, and shipments got stuck, right?
Yeah.
uh, because of the outages in the flight operations. The only thing which, they were very less of what you say, freight flights, and so connecting them. So we worked with our distributors, our supply chain, to see how we could get those freight flights blocked for getting the equipment back into India. And then in India there was a whole lot of challenge because customs was closed. That's
Mhm.
just one operational piece.
Yeah.
The other operational piece was that our partners, because the equipment is not there, their payments got delayed.
Yeah.
uh, and obviously there is a cycle. So we went ahead, our distributors came back to us that partners are in an issue. So what can we do to help them? So we extended the payment terms because we have a two-tiering channel model. Our resellers place the order on distis and distis on us. So we've relaxed payment terms for our distributors so that they could support partners who, who could, when they deliver the goods, they could collect their money and then, pay us back. So those were the two very short-term aspects which we took here. On a larger portfolio, see, we have got terms and conditions for partners to stay in our Next Wave partner program. So there is a minimum booking requirement, right? So we kind of erased that for the COVID time period. We said there is no minimum booking requirement. You will stay on the program. The second thing which is mandatory for our partners is investment in NFR. We also waived that condition. You want to become a partner, you want to work with us, because hardware business was kind of getting a little bit impacted because of deliveries, but there were different aspects, right? In terms of cloud security picking up, in terms of XDR business picking up, or the XOR business picking up. So we relaxed those conditions in terms of for new partners to come on the program, as well as existing partners to, so that they are not under no pressure, right? The third thing which we did was we actually COVID, nobody could do a bit, there was a lot of time saving in time. So we started off with our online sales and pre-sales and post-sales enablement programs for our partners. So because it was online, everything was in multi-mode. And what we tried during this time was move our partners to the next generation technologies, as we call it. So be it SASE, be it cloud security, or be it our Cortex XOR, as we call it, the XOR and XDR, the Cortex portfolio. We ran multiple training programs for our partners, more so from a sales angle, because if there is a demand at one side in the market where, endpoints are becoming critical assets, and, there is a solution which is available. If we impart our partners the requisite sales training to go address this market, during this COVID time also, they would kind of be profitable. And so the whole idea was to move our partners more into our next generation technologies as well, so that, they could actually not just sell more, but sell what is relevant today to our customers, and solve problems for our customers. On a channel footprint, I think instead of kind of going down from the program, we had more and more partners coming in. So there was a 20% increase in the partners we adopted, during this tough phase, right? And while we are getting out of this tough phase, I did see a lot of, I will not name them, but India-based global partners who deliver globally. A lot of partners who are doing, for example, very niche solutions like IoT for a healthcare field, or like SOC, managed SOC operations for a lot of customers globally. Then partners who are delivering cloud services. These are the partners who became extremely interested in our portfolio, because they saw us gaining momentum in the Indian market during this tough phase also. When I talk about India-based GSIs, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Everyone knows them, but I'll not name them. But almost all of them, showed, I mean, not that they were not interested, but they showed more and more interest in our next generation technologies, which I call about cloud security, the XOR and the XDR piece, and the Prisma Access piece. So, which is our SASE solution. So we saw more and more partners adopting, the new technologies which are more relevant in the changing landscape. And these are more relevant because, the move to digitization became very fast. And so these technologies go very well with the move to digitization. And cyber always, the security risk is always there, which these technologies address to point blank. So answering your question, we saw interest growing in our next gen technologies, The firewall business was any which way is growing. So I'll not. I mean that's become a bread and butter for us now. So almost a lot of partners do that business traditionally, but from an interest perspective, more and more partners got latched on to the next generation technologies. We did also see a lot of interest from consulting partners uh, in our technologies, and that relationship is growing leaps and bounds. Lot of interest in strategic partnerships, right? Partners who are doing not just doing security or just the network infrastructure, who are also doing I would say solution oriented projects, right? So interest came in from those partners also. They looked at our solutions and they had started adopting within their overall offerings into the market. Cloud security is going to become very big because cloud adoption in itself has become big, and it's picking up every day. All our customers, there is a myth that uh, you know FSI segment, for example, in India, will be the last to adopt cloud or will adopt cloud slower. But we have seen a lot of our FSI customers adopting cloud much earlier than anybody else, right? So, and so they were the ones to pick up our cloud security portfolio, which we call as Prisma Cloud. Uh, then the trends around SOC automation, and why this trend will grow is because, uh, you know, when you talk about automation, one thing is viewed that, I still remember there was a report from, I believe, Forrester around a couple of or 3 years back that there'll be a 1.7 million shortfall in trained security professionals by the year 2020. We already are seeing those trends. When I talk to my partners, we talk to our customers, either the trained security professional are very difficult to find, or it's cost exorbitant to hire them, right, if they are very good. These are trends which will tell you that there is going to be a dearth. I mean, there is a shortfall, and there is definitely going to be a dearth in security professional. The adversary, on the other hand, which is the bad guys, they operate with the speed of cloud. They are fully automated. Now, if you put people into an automated adversary, the answer would be simple. You can never win a war against a machine, just because of thinking times and compute times and logics which a machine can do. So people can never solve a problem. Now, what's the solution? The solution lies in automation, which is what our XOR platform or our XDR platform does. In fact, the entire Palo Alto Networks length and breadth of our solutions are based on artificial intelligence and machine learning. Our threat intel cloud is entirely based on machine learning. So we leverage that to deliver solutions to our customers. So this trend will kind of keep on increasing. More and more automation will come into customer environments, and they will leverage. So it was always our stated strategy vision that we are looking at quality, and we were never looking at quantity. For us, we are a organization which places a lot of emphasis on value to the customer. The customers today are demanding, and when you talk to a lot of the managed services partners or even a lot of partners, the conversation is from the customers has changed to products and portfolios to outcomes. They are saying, what is the outcome you will deliver to me? And I can allude that there are a lot of MDR partners, managed detect and response partners today. The conversation has completely changed. Rather than asking what product will you deploy in your solution, they are asking what outcomes will you deliver. So when you look at this aspect, there is a extremely different mindset of people, and I say people in our partner organizations, which needs to deliver these outcomes. And our solutions are always tuned towards customer outcomes. What can we solve for the customer, rather than what can we sell? One of our stated, I would say principle is very clear. We will always solve for our customer, and we will not go and sell. The customer will see value of our platforms. Be it cloud security, be it, our Cortex portfolio, be it our Strata portfolio, which is the network side, they will always see the value in products. So, we've always from the start always emphasized on quality versus quantity. And from that aspect, anybody who fits in that within that portfolio, who is willing to learn, invest, get trained, get into new technology areas, those are the partners we will welcome with open arms, almost any time, not just 12 months but beyond also. But somebody who's just focusing on, customer has got a firewall requirement, I want to go sell, make a resell model and get out of that, those are not the partners we are looking for. I mean, from that perspective, we do get applications every day, but our criteria is very clear in what value add are you, what value are you adding to the customer, to yourself as an organization, because unless they learn, they get trained on the newer technology areas as well, they won't succeed. uh,
Exactly.
and the key is profitability for our partners. More and more they invest in their services around the technology areas, the more profitable they are going. Just a resale margin will not sustain them in the long run. It is around what services they can deliver, what outcomes they can deliver for the customers.